everybody, and welcome to Reviews from Hell on Infamous Horrors. I am your host, AJ, and as always, I am joined by my co host, Steve. And today we're going to be doing two movies. One is Emily the Criminal, and the second one is a little bit more straightforward horror in Orphan First Kill. But first, we're going to touch on Emily the Criminal, which has a pretty good premise, right? But the execution was just not clicking with me, even though I hear a lot of people really got into it.
This is getting good reviews across the board. This was a breakout at Sundance. It's considered to be one of Aubrey Plaza's stronger performances by many. But yeah, it did not.
Honestly, it is. Yeah,
it didn't click with me at all. Like none of this works for me very much. It kind of feels to me like a Safdie brothers thing almost. But it doesn't have that.
The gravitas or whatever they bring to it.
The je ne sais quoi. It just doesn't all come together. A lot of it honestly felt flat to me. And I really wanted to like this movie. And I watched it with my girlfriend. Neither one of us could just get into it. And, it felt to me preachy in a way. I hate to use that word, but there's a way that social issues are definitely
instilled in us now, right?
Yeah, there's a way to definitely kind of weave those into a story. And this just felt to me like the point was the point that they wanted to make was more important than the story sometimes. And I almost was, it wasn't like eye-rollingly bad, but maybe close sometimes to where it was just kind of, there's only so often you can use a hammer to make a point before. I get it. I got it. I'm with you. It's like, I felt like at one point they were going to ask how I was voting, but it's like I get it. I get it. But the movie, Aubrey Plaza is good in everything. I think that she does to an extent. She's one of our most interesting actresses right now that's working. But this was not something that I'm going to think of when I think of her.
It's not the Little Hours,
Sure, it's not Legion.
It's
Black Bear, it's not any. It's just not some. But again, a lot of people, especially critically, this is doing really well. I don't know if it's had a chance to play in front of a lot of people yet. Be curious to see the audience critic disparity if there is one. This could be just a missed us thing.
It could be. It just could be it just didn't click with us fully, and.
Yeah,
we're the morons on this one.
Well, yeah, sure. And I struggle for, I just try to think about it. And, there were some moments that, it's an easy to relate to thing. And I think that why audiences will probably like it is because it has to be really easy in America in 2020 to picture yourself as in
2022.
Yeah. What did I say?
2020.
Fuck, isn't that when this whole charade of a new year stopped? Isn't that when we just stopped pretending? Come on. Start pointing at people. Yes, you're right. It is 2022, which it makes my point that much more. This shit show's had 2 years of this to get even worse. But no, Emily the Criminal, we are all tired. We are all stressed out. We are all preyed upon across things like political and social divides. So this movie feels apt for the times about somebody that is potentially just gaslit by existence itself into being a criminal. But, if society is breaking down, self-preservation is always going to kick in. And so it is fun. There are some really cool sequences. When it
the opening in the parking lot, right? That was a really great moment in the film. If it just kept going like that, it could have been almost like a female-driven good time.
Sure, and then there's and then I think that is the kind of vibe that I kept going back to, and the home invasion, when it's just. She has all the gumption or whatever in the world, all the willpower and the drive to make it happen. But sometimes, you still got to be careful. It's dangerous out there. And there's just so many instances of that where it did kind of catch me off guard. where I thought I was safe and then I wasn't safe, like the home invasion, for instance. That's pretty terrifying, and it all does play it realistically. So, like I said,
And maybe that's a fault to it, that it plays it almost too realistically.
I did think that it didn't really decide. Yeah, and I wish it kind of would have went nuttier. Like I kind of wish it would have been
like more, not like completely over the top, but just like, outside of the box a little bit.
And that's my problem with it. I think that it didn't really not just why it didn't really click with me is that I think that that's it, is that because it was so I think it's a movie that is well intentioned and I agree with in terms of its whatever its message or its intent, whatever it is. I just agree with its perceived view of the world. But it just seemed too safe. It seemed a little bit too neat, and it didn't seem like it got nutty enough, and it never seemed like it got quite dangerous enough for having someone like Aubrey Plaza in that kind of role. Like I didn't think that the script gave her the opportunities to really
too into it, right?
Yeah, to really just kind of go nuts, and maybe this
could have been her Nicolas Cage moment, right? Like this guy.
She deserves one. That's what she deserves several. Yeah, but no, for me, and I have only seen it once, so I'll probably revisit it, and it may be a movie.
Right, of course, like once it hits the streaming platform, like I'll give it another go. Like, see, okay, now that I know what to expect, will I enjoy it more this time?
Sure, yeah, but as far as first time going in, it like we've kind of said, I think I've really kind of without
like we texted about it, thoroughly about how we felt about Emily the Criminal leading up to us reviewing it, and I told you this. I think if Theo was freaking fantastic in this,
and that is the male lead, right?
Yeah, the male lead, and I think
what have I seen him in before?
He's been in a few things.
Theo Rossi. He was in Sons of Anarchy. He was in Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is where I've seen him from. And he was awesome in Luke Cage too.
Yeah, he is just a really he's really talented, and he's charismatic, and he's very charming.
I thought he really carried the film for the most part, but my thing is, I wish the screenplay didn't have his character fall in love with Emily's character.
Yeah.
Because I think he could have been a more villainous, tension-filled stress add-on to Emily's character, and it just could have been that much more tension added up to it.
Right, like if it just would rather maybe gone in a different direction. Yeah, no, that's
right.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's totally fair. Yeah, I wish I could remember even that too much about that angle of the film, but it didn't. Nothing really about it really stuck with me on that front. But I really did think that it just kind of every time I felt like it would ramp up to go somewhere that was interesting, and then would kind of back off and kind of meander, maybe just kind of turn somewhere else.
And you can totally tell the influences like other movies have had on Emily the Criminal, right? Like Punch Drunk Love, that kind of deadpan to it. And the Coen...
No, go ahead.
And the Coen brothers, where you felt like you kind of felt safe one moment, and then the next moment, like it caught you off guard like that. Yeah. And then the Safdie brothers, Good Time, like you can tell how movies kind of influenced the way that this was going.
Yeah.
It just felt like too many had influenced it, and it didn't want to be its own thing.
Well, I think too, like in Uncut Gems, and these are all really well-made movies, they have like a certain intricacy in the way that they are, the way that it's like writing a song. It's like sheet music, there's a beat by beat way that those stories are put together in the screenplay and the storyboarding, and
and it's just boom, 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 boom.
That kills it. And I just there's some really cool stuff here, but it didn't really feel for me like it kind of captured that same kind of zeitgeist and that same kind of energy.
Right, like it had moments where it just kind of dragged
Which
along.
saying that it's not quite a Safdie brothers film isn't really an insult. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it's garbage at all. I'm just kind of saying like where it would sit. And if I was going to pay $20 for a movie that is out right now, I would probably honestly see Jordan Peele's Nope again or something.
Oh, yeah, of course, I would too.
For a second viewing, a first viewing at home, then I would have spent 20 on this. I'm really fortunate to have seen the screener of it, and I think that you're a huge Aubrey Plaza fan, so it's like, and I really like her. I mean, I want to always, and like I said, she's great in this. She is always giving strong performances, and she's always really surprising as to what she can do as an actress. And so I think on that front, I don't think that she does anything but show up 100%. And I think that the movie puts some really interesting ideas out there, and you don't see protagonists like this enough. So I still think that if you're looking for something, and it does have that kind of August, kind of late summer feel to it.
It does, right? It feels really hot when you watch it, right?
Like movies that just look like it's like 105 degrees the whole time in these late summer days, and we just want it to be fall. Like I watched Heat earlier today because I was just thinking, what's a movie that makes me think of just late summer heat, to where it's just like, oh, you can feel the heat.
You know what? You could have watched Angel Heart as well.
Angel, and I did recently too in the past couple of weeks. I hadn't seen that for a long time, and it's great, so good. So I love horror.
I got the book in this corner over here, Falling Angel. I have the novel.
Oh, so cool! I've never read it. That's awesome. But I tell you what, that movie, isn't that Adrian Lynn, maybe, or Alan Park? I think it's. I can't remember. I've now forgotten the director of Angel Heart. I was about to praise him, but I don't want to say the wrong name. So I'm going to check that out real quick because I have a Google machine right next to me. And it is Alan Parker, who just recently passed away.
Alan Parker,
Adrian Lynn. Adrian Lynn's the Fatal Attraction guy. My apologies. Different guy. Alan Parker recently passed away, though. And that's what made me rewatch Angel Heart, was when he passed, as a kind of celebration of him, which is sad. So, Angel Heart is awesome. But, this has that kind of just, everybody looks like it's as hot as hell outside, and it has that feel of these just –
and that's probably supposed to add more to your tension of how you view it, right? And how the dread is supposed to be like drenching you in sweat the whole time you're viewing this. Yeah,
the heat is oppressive, like the system is oppressive, and it's not working, and everybody just feels the heat, so to say, to make it sound as corny as possible. But no, and that works. And the more I think about that, adding that other layer to it, like, I could definitely put this on a list of, like, movies to check out. And it was released at the right time of year. It's a good movie to watch in a coolly dark, air-conditioned room.
Right.
might just piss you off. It's so close to, how it actually feels outside right now in a lot of places.
Open up one of your windows on a hot summer night and just turn this on.
Yeah. There you go. That'd be good. But I am more excited to talk about Orphan when we dive.
Oh yeah, but one final thing, I just thought almost like the cinematography of how the DP shot this film, it also weakened it a little bit, I thought.
Yeah,
too.
well,
I don't know if that was just because of the quality of the screener we also got too.
It's hard. It's hard for me to even look at some stuff like that because when I get a screener like that, it's really
and the
hard.
Dark stuff is amplified dark, so you can never tell if it's the quality of the screener or if it's the film too.
Yeah, it is. I run into that sometimes too, where it's like, I don't really know until I see something later, and then I can really get a picture of that. So, who knows on that front.
All right, so my thoughts, and I know your thoughts. So we both give this about a 2 out of 5, 5-star grade, right? Sure. And that's
Sure.
mainly because of Audrey and Theo in this. I
Yep.
mean, if they weren't in this,
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, no, if they weren't in this, I don't even know what I could really say that great about it. But on those performances alone, it's worth checking it out. Yeah, checking out. Sorry. Yeah.
all right, and now the horror movie we're going to be talking about tonight is now in theaters and Paramount Plus.
Yes, I know.
Orphan First Kill.
That's
Which
right.
sees the return of Isabelle.
Isabelle Furhman, yeah.
And once again, she plays that orphan, so to speak.
Esther. There's something wrong
Esther.
with Esther. Yeah, no, she is back, and this one is First Kill, so we're going back, and it's done by what's his name, William Brent Bell, who I really know for the Devil Inside I know, and Stay Alive I know, but the Boy films, The Boy and Brahms, The Boy 2. Which, if you put those, he's got kind of a pedigree here in horror coming out, right. Especially with child horror, kid horror, or whatever, which is a really fun and rich, celebrated subgenre. The first Orphan is a really fucked up, considering it's a studio film and it has a runtime of 122 minutes. It would be unheard of today.
I forgot it was that long. Honestly.
I was so surprised when I went on Paramount Plus and put it on to watch before. I have not seen it in years. Maybe you've only seen it the one time. But, I used to hear people talk about, I will say this. I love Orphan. I love it before we get into it. But I do want to say that it was my sleepaway camp.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when I missed all that, and I'm not a really big fan of that movie at all. But when I saw Orphan, it is campy, it is sleazy, it's
in on the joke, kind of.
Yeah, it's weirdly sexual in this weird, incestuous, off-putting way, and then the twist at the end when you find out she has proportional dwarfism, and it's all a ruse, and she's also this prodigy / serial killer, and it's just so decadent, and it's crazy. When I went back and watched it and saw, number one, you've got big stars. You got Vera Farmiga,
and this was early on in her career, like maybe not early on, but this was when she was starting to get big.
I had seen her in like The Departed and stuff like that, but this was
Up in the Air. Was Up in the Air before this or after?
I think this was that was after this, and this was 5 years, I think, around 4 years before Conjuring 1. So she was still on the up and up, on the rise, so to speak. But okay. This one, Orphan First Kill. This is done, like I said, this is a prequel, and the biggest difference you notice right off the I love this movie, by the way, but the biggest difference I know you notice right off the bat is the first one is definitely from the mom's point of view. It's from Vera.
Yeah.
You're supposed to relate with the mother, empathize with the mother, revel in horror with the mother, be angry at the father, yada yada, etc. It's through her eyes. This one is definitely through Esther's eyes. It's one of those old traditions in slasher history that immediately I can't help but think of certain luminaries like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees, where it's like, by like the third one or so, like, oh wait, what everybody noticed? Oh wait, they're no longer afraid of Freddy. They're rooting with Freddy. They're laughing at Freddy. And so the filmmakers know this going into it. They know they've got this great character going into it. And so if it would not have been from Esther's point of view, if you just set it up again in some random situation,
it's like from Julia Stiles' point of view, I don't think it would have worked. Right?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not scary anymore. What are you going to do? The same reveal? It's not scary when the audience knows the whole time. There's no what the fuck moment. It'd be boring. And on top of that, what this movie does, the subversion, I knew going into it, that, okay, this movie will in some way, though, have to subvert the original for its own existence. That's just how this shit works. And so I was like, is that going to be fun, or is it going to suck, or is it going to fuck up the original? It's so bad. And I really wasn't sure, but I kind of definitely figured it out about 10 minutes before the reveal, and I thought it was fucking great. Even when I figured it out about 10 minutes before it happened, I was like, oh, this is fucking great. This is what they're doing. I was like, why didn't I think of this? That's of course that's
Right.
what they're doing. This is the only smart way to go with this. And it was great. And I thought it was so great to see Julia Stiles just chewing the shit out of scenery.
Oh, you can tell she enjoyed the hell out of this
Oh
movie
my
doing it.
God, some of her dialogue, it's just like, this is drive-in shit. I mean, it's
Right.
like, it's so great. And talk about being in on the fucking joke. I mean, there's almost like winks from Esther at the camera, I feel like. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's almost like
Like in
She-Hulk.
Hot Tub Time Machine, where they're like, it's almost like a hot tub time machine.
Yeah, it's almost like a hot tub time. It's almost like a grown person serial killer pretending to be a child moment. Kind of. It's so, wink, wink. You're here. You're already on the joke with us. Let's have a blast. And the kills are really fun. Like, it still manages to be scary as fuck. Like, the first half hour of it is really great all in itself and is really self-contained. So there's really like, you really get 2 in 1 with this. And it definitely leaves open the possibility that you could subvert all of this a third time and they immediately should greenlight a third one and make a trilogy. They mention how at the beginning of the first one, the only thing is this is not really first kill because she's already in a mental hospital at the beginning of the movie.
Right. And there has to be something before.
Well, they say that she already posed with this Russian family before, right at the start, and they show a picture of that family. And so I'm thinking, well, there's a seed for another film right there. Or you could pull the ultimate doozy and show us that she did not die at the end of Orphan 1, where she goes into the ice at the end, and show us that somehow crazily she lived. We'd buy it. If you just went...
Right, it's a genre film. Like, we buy anything if somebody
people
comes
bitch
back.
about it, I'll just be, the same people that would bitch about it now for dumb reasons are the same people that will watch Jason 6 get struck by lightning back to life over and over again. It's like the same guy yelling from his basement. But no, this trying to think of Orphan First Kill to me is exactly like how you do it. This is a blueprint for how you do a franchise like this, and I got to give it to the director. I got to give it to him. I have seen some of his other stuff, and it has a certain level of fun to it, but nothing that I really love. But he knocks this out of the park. It's like just shows up with a clear vision and knows that this one is an R-rated kind of like violent cartoon almost, but it's still believable. Like it still feels like it's in the same world,
Right.
It still does.
And
but
it almost feels like an 80s drive-in film.
Oh, for
at the
sure.
same time, too.
That's what I was saying. This would be so much fun with an audience, man. This would be the most fun with an audience. Like, I can seriously just like I was thinking, like, there's Julia Stiles. And again, you've got such a clueless husband. Like, again, you got such
and
like
the detective in this, too.
Right? Oh, yeah. There's just this tradition of alarmingly inept males in the Orphan universe that I love that they should keep doing. Like they should have like an even
like this would be another trope that genre films just keep going to.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down for it. I think that Malignant had some pretty bad like male detective work in it as well. Yeah, we'll just keep that going because that's even more realistic than anything, But this movie is a total blast. Like, I didn't get to see it on the big screen. I saw it on Paramount Plus. I've watched it twice. I had a blast with it. But I think that people should definitely go check it out on the big screen if they get a chance.
So, did you notice they de-aged Isabelle Furhman in this movie as well?
Did they? See, I heard that they did not. I thought they did.
They did for like a couple of scenes to make her look younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to be interviewing the guy who did the makeup design on this to de-age her. So,
that's awesome.
Be fun. That's going to be a fun time tomorrow.
You mean like prosthetics, or do you mean through digital work, or?
I'm gonna have to ask.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. You got to tune back in, right? Well, no, they did a great job. I know that a lot of it, I think with both Orphan films, a lot of the cool part of that is that aspect of things is a lot of it is done with just good old fashioned filmmaking in camera on set tricks. Like there's obviously makeup and wonderful VFX artists that go into all this, but it's also really cool to see just a lot of the filmmaking kind of techniques that are work, and that some of them are quite kind of they go back, they have a history,
Right.
yeah. So that's also to me very cool.
And like when you make this into a franchise like this, like you can even go far back as her being born and how she grew up. I mean, you can
like
just keep going
Esther
back and
Baby,
back
like
and back.
Muppet Babies, do like Muppet Babies. No, yeah, I do think that there is, and I do think that there's at least the potential for one more movie here, but as we know, as long as people keep forking over money, they'll keep making them, at least hopefully. But yeah, I would like to see the same creative team, or another one that at least has something this creative for this time. Next time it's got to be better, right? To offer for it to go on, because this is such an unexpected, like 13 years later, such an unexpected.
Right. And now with streaming platforms, it's almost like, there's like less risk for you to do another sequel for this as well.
Right. That's that's the beauty of things. I love going to the theater. I am a pro theater person. I'm also a pro streaming person. Where would the horror? I always say this. Where would the horror community / scene be without Shudder? So much of it has grown since in the past 8 years or so. 7 years since I've had Shudder. I got it early on. And it just it's all multifaceted now. It's 2022, all hands on deck. I don't like being a theater or a streaming person. I like being a pro creator, pro artist person.
Like that's how we are with DC and Marvel, right? Like we can like both things. We just
that's crazy. Yeah, it's like, and to me, something like that, it just, I in the past is it fun to get caught up in some of that stuff? Sure, but like at the end of the day, I mean, I just want good films and good art and good pop culture. Like it doesn't matter to me if it's from Pepsi or Coke. Like it's all, they're all big megala corporations at the end of the day, aren't they? I mean, all those movies, those are all made by the elite. Whatever. Those are much richer people that could buy and sell me 500,000 times over, I'm sure. But so it really doesn't matter. It seems silly to yell about those on the internet to the point to where you cry or call somebody.
Right. Which I have done before. Like I haven't cried, but I have definitely yelled at some people online about it.
You know what? But we're growing, and we're on this journey of healing together.
Just leave Zack Snyder alone, you fucks.
That's it. Your viral moment just happened. You don't even know. That's it. That'll be on your tombstone, AJ. Hey, he's at Netflix, man. Rebel Moon looks awesome. I'm excited.
Dude, I'm still looking forward to it. And didn't they already greenlight a sequel?
Yeah, there's already going to be a sequel, and I think there's another Army of the Dead movie coming too, man. The Netflix era of the Snyder.
That was the first movie I saw back in theaters was Army of the Dead at Cinemark.
Oh, did you see that on theaters? I didn't even cross my fucking mind to see that at a theater. And I was, you know what? That's the first week I ever was in Weddington at Gentry's. And my girlfriend's hi.
Yeah, you could have gone to Cinemark to see that on the big screen because that was like when theaters were first opening back up.
We watched it at her apartment. It was like my 8th watch because it was my birthday weekend. It was a new Zack Snyder zombie film. So, of course, I set off some fireworks. I barbecued outside naked in an apron only while I was listening to Lee Greenwood. and just
Oh, I thought you were going to say goodbye horses.
Goodbye horses. I only do that's more a fall winter activity.
No, that's a karaoke song.
Oh, that's you can't make eye contact with whoever's singing that.
I have done that karaoke before. I've done goodbye
It's
horses.
you. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. I now next time I'm there, I have to that's gonna be our first Patreon is you doing
goodbye horses.
Yeah, Gary. Yes, about 6 shots in. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna need at least 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. We'll just have them lined up. And more waiting for
you.
Yeah.
Orphan first kill. Final grade. What do you need to give it?
I would give this a really solid 4 out of 5, man. I think that we should talk this up.
Okay.
And I do want to say too, all in all, in a time when Warner Brothers, which in the past has been a filmmaker studio, a studio that I still believe in and think is going to be great, but is going through another shit show again. It's great to see somebody like Paramount doing awesome, kicking ass. They are kicking ass, I think, this year. And so, yeah, go get Paramount Plus.
Check out especially when they lost the MCU, like that could have broke them. You know?
I know, and they're like the big little studio that could. Like they're just like forever. It was kind of for a long time. I feel like in the 21st century, it was like Paramount. You know, just kind of sitting over there with that Indiana Jones franchise, collecting dust and whatnot. You know,
right. The Godfather collection.
Or they're just collecting dust, you know. But it's like, so yeah, I do think they're doing great. Absolutely.
And I think I would give this a 3 out of 5. I mean, it's pretty solid.
Sure. That's fair. Yeah, I think I'm being a little more than fair, but so balance those out in your mind. It's like a 3.5. People, what do you want? People? It's not an exact science.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. It's been fun.
Yep.
Steve, as always, have a good night.
Good night, buddy.